Hello everyone, so this is my very first YouTube video. I chose to do a bright summery look for summer, obviously for the season. It's inspired by LisaRaye from Single Ladies. A little embarrassed to admit that I watched that show, but if you know me, you're not really surprised. It's a terrible show, the acting is horrendous, but the makeup and the fashion is really amazing. So this is a look she wore in the most recent episode. And I don't even know what it's on. I just DVR it. So it was the most recent episode. She had a really pretty golden, like an orange golden eyeshadow. And her eye shape is obviously a lot different than mine. So I had to kind of tweak it a little bit, but the gist is there. And in any case, it's sort of my take on how to incorporate a bright color into your everyday neutrals, or just in general, if you are a neutral girl and you want to wear color for summer, it's a nice way to it's a nice option for you, I guess. Yeah, go easy. It's my first tutorial, so I hope everybody likes it, and if you'd like to see how I got this look, please stay tuned. And then I'm going to take a paint pot. This is I'm going to be using as my primer / base. I'll be taking Soft Ochre Paint Pot by MAC. Sometimes I use Painterly, sometimes I use Soft Ochre. It really just depends on skin tone. I'm just going to pat this using my ring finger right over the lid. I'm going to concentrate it really on the mobile lid and then sort of blend it up into the crease. And so for our first color for our crease, I'm going to take Saddle by MAC, which is a nice sort of warm mid-tone brown. I'm going to take a tapered blending brush, take a 224 by MAC into Saddle. You really want to load up the brush. This is going to be our main crease color. I don't know if you can see sort of how much product there's on. And we're going to place this right here in the crease using small circular motions. And then to deepen this crease color, I'm going to take Swiss Chocolate by MAC, which looks like this, and it's much more red than Saddle. So you can see Saddle's here, Swiss Chocolate is here. In terms of depth, they don't seem that different, but you can definitely see in that undertone they are very different. I'm going to take a even more tapered blending brush. This is the 222. It's very narrow as compared to the 224. So this is going to allow me to blend while getting into my crease line and really getting that nice defined shape. I could not live without the 224. So for this, because I really want it to be along this socket line here, this crease line, I'm going to lift the lid so I can really make sure that I'm really able to place the color exactly where I want it. Because I don't want this with chocolate to be all over the place. If you have a bigger lid shape or a bigger crease area, you can definitely use the 217 sideways, in a sideways motion for this part. But I'm working with obviously very limited space, so the 222 is my best friend. So you can see how it's deepened the crease, but I don't necessarily have like a smoky eye, because I still want it to be soft. It's for summertime. It's a very warm, fun look. I don't want it to be too heavy, but I definitely want it to look very finished. And then for our lid color, I'm going to take Goldenrod by MAC. It's this really nice sort of marigold yellow. It's looking a lot more yellow on camera than it is. It's kind of like it's marigold color. It's like a poppy color. Golden pop. Just going to pack this onto our lid. So it's a little bit more yellow than I like. I'm going to take a little bit of Rule by MAC, which is very orange. And I'm just going to put a little bit of this sort of over the goldenrod. And that's going to give me more of that tone that LisaRaye had on. Hers wasn't so yellow. Then I'm going to go back in with that same 224 brush, going to a little bit of goldenrod, and then just kind of place it right here up top, sort of mirroring the arch of my eyebrow right on top here. And that's just going to give it more of that glowy, it's going to pull that yellow from the lid more into the look. It's going to incorporate it more. You can see from this side to this side how this side looks a little bit, it just looks richer. It's got a better gradient. It looks like it's more blended, even though there's actually more color on top. Do the same thing on this side. Again, following the arch here of my eyebrow. And I'm not really bringing it too far in or too far out because, again, I want to create a gradient. I don't want it to be another color for me to blend out. And then on top of all that, I'm going to take Brulee by MAC, which is a skin tone color. It's more of like a beigey cream color. Okay, so liner's on. I'm going to put lashes on, but I will do that later. I like to do it last after all my face products are on, just because when you put powder and foundation, you're blending, sometimes the makeup can get on the lashes and then it gives them that weird tint. So I just like to make sure that it's the last thing I do. I'm going to do concealer. I'm going to put a little bit of Pro Longwear Concealer by MAC, which is this one. And then I'm going to be putting on top of that the Maybelline Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. Using a airbrush concealer brush by Sephora. This is this big one. Talk about it in my favorites video. So I just put a little bit of this underneath here, and then a little bit on the other side as well, obviously. And then as well just underneath my nose where I have some redness. And it'll cover that little blemish I have. This just right on top, sort of in that, like, I guess it's a sideways V motion. And then I just blend this all the way around. So I'm really putting this sort of in like that inner pocket of the face, really concentrating it obviously right underneath the eye, making sure to bring it in onto the side of the nose. Face concealed, looks a little strange. So then for foundation, I'm going to be taking MAC Match Master in 2.0. I'm going to be using my Sephora Contour Blush and Bronzer brush in 43, and it's just this flat top kabuki style brush. You can see how big it is. I love this. I've talked about this also in my favorites video. But this is what I've been using every day for this particular foundation. The foundation is on. I'm going to take my Sephora Micro Smooth Baked Face Compact. It's just the mineral powder. I'm going to take the same brush and I'm just going to concentrate this along my cheeks. It's going to kind of naturally contour and give me a little bit more color back into my skin. It's the number one complaint I always get from people is that, oh, I put foundation on but it makes me look too white. I feel like a ghost. Foundation isn't meant to give you color. It's meant to even out your canvas, your skin. So you use powders and bronzers and blushes to give life and color back to the face. Which is why blush and bronzer always look different when you apply it over foundation as opposed to just applying it to bare skin. So you really have to understand the function of what you're putting on your face in order to get the maximum ability out of it. For a little bit, I'm going to take the MAC 165. It's a small tapered brush. It was limited edition. I'm going to go in with Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer. Is that what it's called? Chocolate Soleil bronzer. Which I love for this. I just don't like the smell. I think I mentioned that as well in my favorites. So I'm just going into the hollows. Really making sure I blend it back into the hairline again. I'm going to bring this a little forward. Huge fluffy powder brush. This is the Sonia Kashuk. I'm going in with the new MAC Pro Longwear Bronzer in Nude on Board, which looks like that, if you can read it. It's the gold one, the goldish one. I'm going to get plenty onto the brush, and then I'm going to put this right over the cheekbone. So I put Chocolate Soleil here, and then the Nude on Board is going right on top. That's going to help warm up the skin, the side of the cheek, but it's also going to create a nice gradient. Instead of having to like contour the entire side, it's going to create that gradient, which is how a shadow would work anyway. It looks more natural. It just tends to look a lot richer as well. This is going to go in that backwards 3 or E shape, depending on the direction you're moving, right along the top. So I don't want my forehead to necessarily look tan, but I definitely want to bring in the edges. And this bronzer doesn't have like shimmer to it. It does have a nice glowy finish though. So it's perfect for this kind of thing. I'm going to bring a little bit back along the jawline just for continuity, because I don't want like all this contour and then nothing right here on the back of the cheek. And if you want, you can put a little on underneath the chin. I don't always do that. It really just depends on what I feel. So bronzer and contour and all that kind of stuff are done. I'm going to take a powdery blush brush, which is, I think this one is from Walmart. It's like one of their HD brushes. It's really, really nice. Going with Peaches by MAC, which is a nice peach shade. It's like a corally peach on the more orange side. This is one of my favorite blush colors. I'm going to go in with NARS Albatross. It looks like that. You all know. It's super pretty. And I'm going to go in with a MAC 116. Put a little bit on there, and I'm going to highlight right along the tops of the cheekbones. I really concentrate it here and then sort of blend it backwards, and then whatever's left on the brush will drag upwards onto the temple. Before I put lashes on, I'm going to actually line the bottom as well. I'm going to use the Milani Infinite Liquid Liner in 04 Forever. It's a bronzy metallic shade. Normally I would use a separate brush for something like this, but the applicator on this one is actually pretty nice. It doesn't ever really get like gunky or anything, so it stays pretty flexible. Alright, so for lips, I'm going to be doing a nude lip. There's all kinds of different ways you can do this. Obviously, nude isn't the same for everyone. I'm going to be using Strip Down by MAC just to line. And then I'm going to go in with Creme de Nude by MAC, which is like everyone's favorite. The trick with nudes is to not oversaturate with product, so because it can settle into like the lines of your lips and it gets that like weird gross chalky look. You get like crackhead lips. Not cute. So you can leave it like this, just like with a basic nude lip. It's a little too like zombie lip for me, so I'm going to be taking Pink Lemonade, which is, I always talk about this. I know it looks crazy in this tube, but you'll see. Put it on. And it just sort of pinks everything up. It's still a gloss. It doesn't have like that much coverage or anything. So it's just going to give you a nice, slightly pink lip, but it's still like very nude. You can see. So that completes my LisaRaye Single Ladies inspired look. It's very summertime. It's very bright and fun, but in a very wearable way. It almost actually looks neutral, and then you see like it's obviously got a very yellow golden pop. So I think it's a fun way to wear color, and it isn't so crazy to wear even if you're like a neutrals girl. You know, just a little bit of an incorporation can make a color that's as bright as goldenrod work for you. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, leave them below. Please don't forget to comment, rate, or subscribe, and check out my blog, glossymattesatin.blogspot.com. Thanks, guys.